Hello, everybody. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are. We're just going to do some general travel updates on what's going on right now and answer any questions you have. Feel free to leave us a comment if you have any questions, and we will try to answer those. But yeah, it's been exciting for travel lately. Things have been changing at Mach speed. So, I guess maybe I'll let you start. Teresa, you want to mention some things that have changed? I'll put you on that. What?
Jamaica's not requesting you to do COVID testing to come in anymore, which is huge because they were one of the islands were having so much trouble during the midst of COVID. So for them to back off those protocols is huge. Again, Costa Rica, Hawaii, all of them are backing off the COVID protocols, which is great for us. Makes it a lot easier. You still have to test coming back into the United States, though, within the 24-hour time period. But it's working out. Like it's people aren't like rushing to try to get in and get COVID testing before they have to leave. And so that's really huge for all of us. You're still needing to test to get onto cruise ships at this time, but we'll keep an eye on that to see if any of that changes anytime soon. I know that you and I were talking about the public transit wasn't requiring mask anymore, which is nice. It's kind of like we're in the endemic stage of what they consider the flu as well. So we're just kind of, go out, wash your hands, take precautions, but we're not wearing masks and people are afraid to travel and do everything anymore. So that's great. It's working out for us perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's all. It's really positive, and I have a feeling it's just going to keep going. It's kind of like it's the ball has started rolling. It's just going to keep
Yeah.
going, and a lot of destinations. I think there's some other Caribbean countries, but I don't want to say the names offhand, so I'm wrong, or in case I'm wrong. But I know there's a
Right.
few other islands that have also dropped the testing requirements. I know ASTA is doing a big push to try to get the U.S. to drop the testing requirements for
Yeah.
re-entry. So I've been seeing a lot of people posting that on Facebook. So hopefully that will go through. ASTA does have a pretty big lobbying arm. So I know
Yeah.
that.
That's on our forefront right now. We have a big wedding in 3 weeks in Costa Rica, which they don't have to test going out, but coming back in, we've got to get all of those people tested to get back into the United States within the 24-hour time period. So it is detrimental, to travel, especially on when people are leaving the United States. They are kind of scared, get that test, make sure everything's okay. So we're watching that with a close eye too to see if anything changes within their time frame of travel. So
Yeah, it makes
yes,
a big difference because even I'm like, well, at first it made me scared, especially when it was like you basically couldn't come back until you tested negative. Now I think it's
right,
5 days is what
yeah,
you have to quarantine, or unless you have symptoms, and then I think they'll make
right.
you stay longer. But 5 days, if you're showing no symptoms, you can come back in. So
And that's why it's so detrimental to have travel insurance when you're leaving the United States to help with alleviating those costs too. So
yeah.
it's nice to have that COVID protection.
Yeah, and then some resorts, depending if you're going to like an all-inclusive resort, some will have an extra coverage that you can pay for
Yep.
that will cover your stay if you have to quarantine. So you get to stay in a little bit nicer than whatever. Because some governments have quarantine protocols as well, where they'll put you up someplace, but
Right.
the resorts will let you stay maybe a nicer one in the resort and get the good food and
Exactly.
stuff. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's good to cover those bases still. But I definitely think once that test requirement is dropped, then things are going to go really crazy. They're already crazy. Like I think last time I said, Carnival had their biggest selling day of all time.
Yep.
A lot of the resorts, I mean, Mexico has just been crazy. The
Yeah.
traffic, the airport, it's just been it's travel. People are just traveling like
Yeah.
crazy. And now because flights, because of gas, and because of the increase in travel, the airlines have really bumped up the cost of flights. So
Yeah.
the bad news is if you were looking for that cheap discount, any of those words that you want to put in with travel, that ship has
Not
sailed
happening.
for the
Yeah.
most place. You might be able to find like some cheap last minute cruise deals still, if you can drive, but if you have to fly someplace, good luck.
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
going to find. anything. I've been looking at US only flights even, and like they've been about $1,000 per person just to fly like from destinations across the country. There's still ways to find some discount, like lower price flights. I use Google Flights. I don't. Do you ever use Google Flights?
Yep. Yep.
That's what
Use those.
I'll use that to kind of look, and they even have an option where you can, if you don't have any particular destination you're have in mind, you can kind of look and they'll show you what the prices are from your airport that you're leaving from for different destinations. So that's if you're just thinking about taking a vacation and you have no clue, that's like a nice preliminary
Yeah.
way to look and see like, oh, well, this one's cheaper, this one isn't. So, but yeah, definitely prices for anything that includes a flight is going to be really
Much
expensive. So
higher.
if you have flexible dates, I always suggest, let us know, and then we can look at the flights first, and then kind of that's where I usually start is look at the
Yeah.
flights, especially if it's like a family traveling and you're going to be
Yeah.
paying for a lot of flights, and then I kind of will build it around like what days we can get you flying there the cheapest. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, maybe a staycation or
Yeah.
short destination this summer for your family travel. Try to find places within 2 or 3 hours from where you live that you haven't explored, maybe new camping areas or
Yeah.
other cities that you haven't been to that you can just go do like a city tour. Might be good options because of course gas for your car is expensive as well, so you don't want to be driving too far, you really don't want to be
Right.
flying. That would be I mean, if you're looking for a deal, if you have a nice vacation budget, then sure, go to the places, go see the things, because I don't think it's going to get cheaper anytime soon. So I wouldn't put
Right.
it off hoping for a deal to come around. I would do the vacation. Don't wait, because I think if anything, it's just going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
And so, but that would be my 2 cents. I don't know.
Yeah. And then like if you're in Arizona or someplace that's super hot like our desert is, the summer's a great time to go to the big resorts with your kids and, the water parks that they have and kind of just have that little, weekend or midweek getaway. And our pricing goes down in the summer because no one really wants to suffer through the heat here. So
Yeah.
it's a great way to do a good staycation with the family and just enjoy, just a little getaway. So there's always deals. You just got to look.
And there's a lot of really cool places not too
Mhm.
far from Phoenix driving distance too.
Right.
Like you can go explore. I mean, their prices might not be much lower because those are cooler places, but I know like,
Right.
we went to Bisbee was really cool when we lived there, and that was just a couple-hour drive, and Pine
Yeah.
Top, and there's just all sorts of really cool places. Like Arizona, a lot of people think like it's just the hot
Yeah.
desert, but there's a lot of really cool places.
We have all the climates here. People don't understand. We go from desert all the way up to mountain, and we have the prairie lands. So it's a really great place to get out and enjoy, Grand Canyon, Antelope Canyon, all of the great. I wouldn't be going to Antelope Canyon during the summer. It's too hot. But, there's a lot of places to go see. And, Flagstaff is fun. And Sedona is a big draw. So there's a lot to get out and see.
Yeah, and I know, like over here on the East Coast, it does get hot and humid, but it's still
Yeah.
there's some good places that you can go see and go into the mountains. Like you can get into the Appalachians, or like the Blue Ridge Parkway is much cooler. And that's a really cool place to like explore. There's tons of campgrounds and hiking and things like that to do. I just learned that the Smoky Mountain National Park is free admission. Like it's
Oh,
a
cool.
national park that's like free admission. So that I thought was pretty cool. And but yeah, lots of cool things to do to help save money. And we can definitely help with those things if you have a family and you just don't know what to
Yep.
do and you have a certain budget. Like I always have lots of great ideas, and I've traveled all over the United States, so I have a lot of good. How many states? 43 states. 43 of the 50
Oh, cool.
that I've hit now. So I can always give some good pointers and things that we did to save money when we were traveling. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I understand. Like I had 3 little kids at one time. We were traveling, family of 5, didn't have a huge budget. So I know how to help people in that situation because I wanted to travel, so I had to figure out things.
Yeah.
So other thing I would say, destination weddings. You guys have been doing a lot with that. How are
Yep.
things going with destination weddings?
We're doing good. The theme is it's a lot cheaper to do a destination wedding than it is to have the big, hometown wedding, church, and reception. A lot of people like that idea because it takes a lot of stress off of them when we come in on the background and we're doing all the travel for all your guests, and then you have the wedding expert at the venue helping you, and you kind of just go and choose what you want, and it kind of takes a lot of stress off of our brides. We have a huge wedding going to Costa Rica, like I said, in 3 weeks, and I just heard from the bride and she was like so excited. She wants to go a couple of days early and just, hit the spa and have some fun. And I have family members who are planning actual like hometown weddings and they are not as relaxed. So, but some numbers are going up. Definitely, they said, compared to inflation, but weddings have gone up. Hometown weddings have gone up 8.5%. Menswear has gone up 14.5%. So your tuxes or your suits, and for your, groom and groomsmen, wedding dresses have gone up 10.1%. So it's just adding to, more like stress and money. Our bride and grooms love to be like, they're already there, they're getting married in the destination of their choice. And then we have some that decide to either change rooms and stay in the same destination, or they go further out into another destination for their honeymoon. So it's great. I think we're really rocking and rolling with that. We have people coming from New York into Sedona for destination weddings. So it's kind of just a lot of fun to see where their ideal area is to get married. I just had a honeymoon couple get back yesterday, and they were raving. They were in Cancun. They loved every minute of it. They said that they just felt so relaxed. So they did a courthouse wedding and then decided to spend on their honeymoon because they have kids at home, this is both their second marriages, and they wanted to just take some me time. So it's great. I think travel's a great way to bring in that romance of it, and then also to get to share it with the people at your wedding, in a certain destination, and they get to kind of feel like they're on vacation as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of fun to do those. We're enjoying them. We kind of curate it from the bottom up to what they want, where they want to stay, what kind of room types, is it Costa Rica, like on the beach, or is it in Sedona with the red rocks, so feeling that peace, and everyone just really loves the tranquil vibe in Sedona. So it's a lot of fun to do those. And it does save a lot of money for the bride and groom if you have guests who are excited and willing to travel. So I think it's a great way.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely is. And even like cruise lines they have wedding
Yep.
packages. The last cruise we were on, they had a whole wedding party that they actually got off at one of the destinations. I think when it was in the DR at Amber Cove, they got off in Amber Cove and went and had their wedding ceremony while we were in port. And then they
Oh,
came back and did all like their reception and stuff on the boat, and they were all dressed up, and they had a private like area on the boat that they like roped off for them and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And I've booked a wedding like that on a carnival they actually got married out in Cabo, which that one was kind of complicated because some destinations the cruise line will have kind of it built in and you can just book the packages through them. That one I had to like piece together because Carnival didn't have that package, so I had to like get a local wedding planner in Cabo to help set it all up and
yeah.
transportation and stuff like that. But it worked out, and they had a great time. So there's lots of options. And I was gonna say too, like that couple you said at the courthouse, there's some really great elopement packages at most of the
Yep.
resorts too, which they'll just do like a really cute beach ceremony for the two of you, and then like a photography package. So if you want to have
Yeah.
some beautiful wedding photos on the beach, you dress in your pretty dress and have him. And Terry, her and her husband did that for their what was it, their 20th year wedding anniversary, I think recently, or 25th. I don't remember. It was, but some long. They did that at Cabo at Rio, I think. Is it the Rio?
Mm-hmm.
The Rio Palace. So, and those pictures were amazing. Like they have some really good photographers at the
They
resort.
do.
It's actually gotten so much better since I've been in. like the destination weddings in general have gotten way better since I've been in travel. Like I remember when I first started, like they would have like this like set of like packages that you could pick from, and they would be like really kind of tool like
Yeah,
for the arbor. And it would have like like maybe pink, bright pink ribbon or turquoise. It was just like really like
yeah.
maybe not. But now most of the resorts have some really
They're
nice.
super elegant. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love AMR resorts. I love them, dealing with them and their wedding packages. And they work really well with us as travel agents. And, they even tell their guests, like, you need to work with a travel agent because it's so much on the bride to try to make sure, hey, did you book your room? And, are you sure you have the transfers and your flights? And, it's a lot on the bride. So I love that we have that camaraderie, and they're really easy to work with. And you can go online and see, if the date that you want is available. You're not waiting for communication back. So they do a really good job. I'm really impressed with how AMR handles. And that's who we're doing our Costa Rica wedding through, is an AMR resort. So they do a really great job.
Yeah, I really like AIC, like Hard Rock and stuff. They're good too.
Yep,
I've done weddings
they
with
do
them.
great.
They do a really good job. Something that I think is that a lot of people don't realize when they are going to a destination wedding as a guest is that like there's a price. There's like a lot of times people will be like, oh, well, I found different pricing. But the
Yep.
thing you don't realize is those group pricing is including a whole bunch of perks and benefits for the
Yeah.
bride and groom. They're getting discounts on food, on venues, maybe a discount on their room. There's
They
all
can
sorts
get
of
private, like, little reception parties and cocktail hour. So it's a lot.
yeah. So the guests, like what they need to realize is when you're going and you're paying that group rate, it may not be the same as what you could book it on your own, but it's because you're actually helping the bride and groom with some of those overhead expenses that they would have to do. And usually the pricing is not that much different, but
Mm-mm.
I know when I was booking a lot of destination weddings, that's something that came up a lot. People would be like, "Oh, I found it, for $50 less on such and such." It's like,
Yeah.
well, you really need to book into the group because, well, there's a couple things. One, that's how the bride and groom are getting those
Their little
special.
concessions.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
have to have a certain amount of people book into their group. And two, the resort can actually like, depending on the resort brand, they can like not let you be a part of like some of the wedding things.
Yep.
If you book on your own, you book outside the group. Like you're not part of that group then at that point because you haven't paid into for those extra concessions that they're getting. So just something good for people to know if you've been,
Right.
invited to a destination wedding and you're like, oh, that the price is more or whatever. There are reasons. It's not that people are trying to swindle you or whatever. Like the group
Right.
rates are the way they are for a reason, and that you're really there to support the bride and groom or the bride and bride or the groom and groom, whoever,
Right.
however that wedding is happening. You're there to support
Right.
them.
The
And
couple.
yeah,
Yeah.
but
And also, too, staying off resort. A lot of them now are not issuing day passes. So you can't stay at a cheaper resort and then think that you can come to the wedding. They're not allowing day passes anymore because they want you at the venue with the couple to celebrate. So, we ran into that a couple of times too. So, a lot goes into it. And I think that's why we can kind of help a lot, because we can guide them and let them price the reason, let us explain. And so I
yeah.
think it helps out a lot. So
No, it's all good stuff. And I think if people could just understand that all, it really does. It's set up so perfectly for the bride and groom, the way they run the groups and the resorts
yeah,
and us as agents. Like it, it just is a flawless process if you just kind of go with the flow and don't try to overthink it as a guest. Just know that there's a reasoning for all of that.
yeah,
And so, well, that is about all I got. Just anything else you can think of you want to mention before we jump
no,
off?
no, just lots of sales are going on if you book, in advance. 2023 is already starting to book out. So cruises, especially if you're looking for something like that, let's get you in the, stateroom that you're wanting. Balconies usually sell out quick. So, but lots of fun. We're back to travel. So think big,
Okay.
and we're here to help you. So
And I'm trying to think of like destinations or things that we want to talk about next time. I know something that's been coming up a lot for me is Maldives. Like a lot of people are really interested in that. Is that a destination
Yeah,
you've been? Okay.
I
So
haven't been, but I know Vigil has, and just the trek there. It's not really a quick turnaround, so you need to put some time in. Staying at least 7 to 10 days is what she usually suggests because it is, a planes, trains, and automobiles getting there. So,
me,
but yeah, she knows
yeah.
that area well.
I wonder if she'll be available next week. Maybe we can do like
We'll make her.
yeah, exotic, like more exotic destinations. Maybe we talk about like Fiji,
Yeah,
Maldives, French Polynesia, Bali, kind of just hit some of those.
Bali. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that
So
sounds like a plan.
I wanted to go to Bali this year, but we're not going to be able to go. But anyway, so yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, let's do more exotic next year, next time, and then we'll have Vigil make sure she's on talking about them.
Maybe I can get
So,
one of the, see if I can hit up a BDM too. I'll have to look
ooh,
into
that
it.
would be great.
Anybody, like a Fiji person or a Maldives. How do you say it? Maldives? Maldives?
Maldives. I always said Maldives, but I could be
Maldives.
wrong.
Okay, well, I hope you have a great day, and
You
thank you for those that are
too.
watching. Let us know if you have any questions, comments for the next time, and we will answer them.
All
Bye.
right. Talk to you soon. Bye.